All right, welcome everybody. It's Brother DL signing off for the Prophets Republic. Got my two good buddies in the house, my sister Little Deer and Dr. Kufar. How y'all doing this evening?
Doing great, brother. How about yourself?
I'm all ready.
Doing great, brother.
Now, Little Deer, you popped in and out like 25 different times
Oh,
earlier.
come on. Now that's an exaggeration. You're acting like Muhammad.
Is everything good with your connection?
Yeah, I got it now. Yep, I'm good.
She was trying to catch up with Allah.
What do you guys think? No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Allah had to create mercy and keep 99 for himself. I figured I could give it a try.
Yeah, he's dead and in his grave, and but his so-called revelations that he received lives on. Got an interesting stat if you guys want to hear it.
Yeah, sure.
I think
Definitely.
I'm hearing an echo. Oh, just a second. Sorry about that, folks. I think I posted it. I think you saw it, Little Deer, in Clubhouse, that since 1995, 800 million Qurans have been sold. Since 1995. You guys know how many Bibles were sold from the same period of
time? Oh, probably in the billions.
Over 5 billion.
5 million?
Billion.
Oh, billion. Okay, so I was right.
Yeah.
And you said how many Qurans?
800 million.
Wow, that's kind of weird because what? The Muslim population supposedly is
1.7.
Yeah, 1.7.
Yeah. So there's more Muslims than there is Qurans that were sold from 1995.
Isn't the Bible still like the #1 most bought book?
Yeah, it's the bestseller and has been since the time of the printing press in the 1500s. So just think about it. That's just what's been tabulated from 1995 until the present time.
Wow. Hey, Brother Sky. Yeah, that is amazing.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's more Muslims than there are books, Qurans that have been sold since 1995. What a tragedy. And yet they claim that Muhammad is the most influential person that ever lived. I don't see how that could be, because any given prophet in the Bible is being studied by billions more than people are reading the Quran. As a matter of fact, it's only half of the Muslim population, you could say, is even reading the Quran.
Now,
and we already know what their knowledge of the Quran is. It's little to nil, because it seems like Christian apologists have to always educate Muslims on what the Quran says.
I mean, that is funny that, someone like myself and you and God Logic and all the rest of us, we seem to be more up to date on their sources than they are. And which makes it funny when they try to lie to us. That's the part where they try. It's almost like they don't comprehend. Like just before I came on here, I was on the live stream and I was listening to what's his name, the best debater. He's probably a young, in his early 20s Muslim. And I guess they were going over 29:27, which is the one that talks about Allah granted or blessed Abraham with Isaac and Jacob and gave prophethood to his to his progeny descendants.
Right.
And he brought up chapter 2, verse 133, which kind of basically it's talking about Jacob is dying, and he asks his sons, "Who are you going to worship?" And they say, "Oh, we'll worship the God of, the God of your fathers, Abraham, Ishmael, and Isaac." Now, I couldn't figure out what does that have to do with the other one. Doesn't say anything about prophethood. It's just Jacob is just asking his sons, and that's also the verse that when I've asked Muslims to show me a verse in the Quran where Allah says He is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, like Yahweh does throughout many verses in the Torah. I mean, He tells Moses, right. I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So I've been asking Muslims, and they always go to 2:133, and I'm like, but that's Jacob's sons. Oh, but Allah is speaking right. That. See, they don't understand my argument. I'm asking for Allah Himself, not Allah telling me what somebody else said. And it's just amazing. It's almost like they don't have any reading comprehension skills. I mean, it's right there in front of you. I mean, I've asked them, show me a verse in the Quran where Allah says, and He gave, bestowed, He granted, He blessed, whatever you want to use, Ishmael to Abraham. And
right.
So they'll send me a verse where Abraham is thanking Allah for blessing him with Ishmael. And I'm like, dude, that's not what I asked. I didn't ask for.
Well, that's inconsequential anyway, because first right. You have to show what the relevance of Ishmael is, because you don't have you can't make a connection between Muhammad and Ishmael. It's literally. It's actually an inconsequential situation.
I mean, they can try, but their best lineage only goes back to some guy named Adnan, which was like 120 BC.
Right.
I mean, how many generations would be between 120 BC and Ishmael would have been around 2000 BC? A typical generation is usually considered to be 25 years.
Yeah.
So that's like 77 generations that we don't know about.
A biblical generation would be more 35, but still, you're absolutely right.
I mean, there's just too many generations for them to, I mean, I haven't found the source. I mean, all my sources that I've looked for, the best that I could find, they all go to some guy named Adnan, which I have no clue who that is.
Well, I was in a room today and kept getting the Shias and the Sunnis fighting each other. So that was kind of interesting. The Islamic Caesar, I'll say his name, Islamic Caesar.
Right.
And the other guy was, what is Islamic Caesar? Is he Sunni? Shia.
Yeah, he's Sunni.
He's Sunni. So the Shia was coming into a Christian room and challenging him on what he was saying because they don't agree. And man. So I thought.
Yeah, go ahead. Those are funny.
Yeah, this guy was really causing Islamic Caesar a lot of headache. And you know how we just sat back and listened.
I think I was in that room.
Were you? Oh, man.
Yeah, because I was surprised because that's the first time I've seen Islamic Caesar on TikTok.
That's the second day I've seen him. So he's just gotten in there.
Okay. That was the first time for me. And I was like, because there's some voices that you just cannot.
Can't erase from your memory.
Just can't erase from your memory. So I was like, okay.
No matter how much you try.
I was also surprised to see, now you guys may not know him, but this goes back to my Pal Talk days. His name was his name is Altir, and he's well, the man speaks like 7 languages. He's fluent in Arabic, and he's got a PhD in the Quranic Arabic. So he's always destroying the Muslims using their Quran and the Arabic, grammar and sentence structure. The only issue is his English is very poor. So you won't really see him in any, like English speaking room. But I came across a live stream with some other friends that I've met on TikTok, and a lot of them speak Arabic. So I was just listening because sometimes they would speak English, and he had a different name. But man, the minute I heard him speak, I was like, I know who you are. I mean, he did some serious damage to Islam.
What was his name again? You couldn't remember?
Well, on TikTok, it's something Jamal, but we know him from Pal Talk as Altir. He used to always go to the Arabic rooms where the Muslims would be speaking Arabic, and sometimes he would come into my room, but most of the time he would be speaking Arabic with the Muslims. And, oh, let me tell you, they would curse him out because he would say stuff. And he's like, why are you cursing at me? That's what your Quran says. And they didn't like him because he knows the Arabic Quran inside and out. And he knows about the different, the so-called Arabic, grammar, which to me doesn't make any sense at all, but that's just me. So there's nothing that they can do. He's like a Christian prince without speaking English. So he's on TikTok now. So I was like, cool. I tried to send him a message, but he's got a private account. So TikTok wouldn't allow me because we're not friends. Oh, yeah. Talking about that. I tried to do the notification on your YouTube account, and it wouldn't allow me. It doesn't allow me. It's got the little X. Because typically I'll put like, you can do personal, you can do all, and no matter what I picked, it's got the little X, meaning no notifications.
Right.
So your account has the same issue as Eric. Eric's account does the same thing for me. And I'm like, okay. I don't know why. Maybe it's YouTube, or maybe it's in your settings. I can't remember. Now with Eric, YouTube said something about his accounts allowed.
You talking about the cross and the crescent?
Yeah, the cross and the crescent. But I think YouTube said something about it allowed under 18. I'm like, okay. So it says something about if you can't.
No, it'll ask you, did you create this for kids?
Yeah.
And I always hit no. So.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that's when you do the live streams. I'm thinking in your setup, when you set up the accounts, there must be something there, or YouTube just don't like you, because
right.
I have no problems following, subscribing to any other channel, and I can subscribe, and then I can hit the bell and get notifications. But yours, it said nope. I was like, okay, I guess I'll have to make sure I check now and then. Same thing when Eric goes and does a live stream, I don't get any notifications, but he usually posts on Skype, so that's where I get the notifications. But yeah, I thought that was kind of strange. So we're gonna have to build up your account, man. I'm still under 1,000, so I'm still trying.
I think I'm under 10.
No, I checked, and I think you were almost like 40. Yeah, you're at 37.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're at 37.
Watch out, God Logic. Here I come.
I know, man. God Logic is getting close to that 100,000. I heard Albie's got over 500,000. I was like,
Albie.
On this Assyrian,
yeah, the Assyrian, yeah,
the Assyrian guy.
yeah. You gotta-
Does he? Wow.
He did.
That's what I heard somebody say when they were talking about God Logic, because I think God
Let me
Logic.
check that out. I don't think that's accurate.
I don't know if that was on YouTube or TikTok or something. I don't think it's TikTok. That's for sure. Because he gets banned all the time, like me.
Yeah, I don't think that might be on like Facebook or so. I don't think, or it's a combination of everything.
Oh,
Because
maybe.
I don't think it is on YouTube either. Because he doesn't do much in
No,
YouTube at all.
he only has 1.26K.
That's it. So I don't know what this guy was talking about. He
That's
had
it.
500,000. I was like, dang.
And he's only got 23 videos.
Maybe it's
Yeah, subscribe
Instagram
to
or
this.
something. I don't know. I think I'm probably getting close to what 400 videos on my end.
Yeah, you do a lot of shorts.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of shorts because once we finished the dissecting the Quran, I ran out of things to do. I was going to do one on how to debate Muslims, because you got to have a certain kind of way of debating Muslims because they will take advantage of you. But I couldn't put it together, and I
Right.
couldn't get anybody to join me because just like I think it's a good idea to have channels, because like I'm weak when it comes to doing apologetics. I'm not going to lie. I don't, apologetics is not my cup of tea because I haven't studied the Bible from that aspect. Unlike with Islam, I did study Islam from the polemic side point. So I can debate the Muslims pretty much on any topic that has to do with the Quran. But as far as apologetics, I'm really weak on that. So
Well, you need to get together with DL, and he will teach you scriptures front and backward and forward and upside down, every which way.
well, he did teach me something that I didn't know. I got to figure out how I'm going to use it, but that was very.
Which one was that?
Oh, you know the one about the 70 languages, and Jabril spoke the 70 language, and he taught Joseph. So and he only came to the tribes of Judah and Levite.
Right.
So therefore, it wasn't Jabril in the cave. I keep saying Jabril. It wasn't Gabriel in the cave because he didn't speak Arabic, nor is Muhammad from the tribe of Levite and from the tribe of Judah. So
Absolutely. And
so that was something new. But yeah.
So a Muslim said today that Allah came to Muhammad, was the only one that came to Muhammad.
Say what?
That Allah was the only one that delivered anything was to Muhammad for the Arabic. But if Allah is the same as Yahweh and spoke to Moses and Joseph and Adam, that what she said was completely.
Yeah, you're breaking up now. Now this is something that I've been noticing.
yeah, she keeps popping in and out.
Yeah, when I've been going to like other Christian live streams, is that and they have, hey, Space Potato. I like that name. Maybe I'll change and come up with an account on TikTok, Space Potato. But I've noticed that a lot of times when Christians have, especially if it's the live stream is dealing with Islam or the Quran or Muhammad, is that they're letting Muslims get away with making false claims, whereas they should jump on it and make them prove the claims, whether it's claims against the Bible or whether it's claims that they make about the Islam. But it's not my live, and sometimes they won't let me up, so I can't do anything. But I've noticed that we need to, and this comes with experience and, having more knowledge of how to deal with the Muslims. So, yeah, they're having these Muslims up there, and it's almost like they're making up their own tafsirs.
Right.
And I look at it, there's people, sometimes there's 50, 100 people in the chats. They may not have as much knowledge as some of us. So when they hear the Muslims say something and they don't see anybody challenging them, they might think that, oh, must be true. That's my viewpoint. I don't know. That's just me.
Right.
Because I come from the old school of CP. When CP hears a Muslim say something, he grabs onto it and he makes them, where's your source? And that's the other thing. Muslims are very poor at sources. Oh, I'll bring you the source tomorrow. Yeah, I'm still waiting for some sources from people in Clubhouse. Oh,
good luck.
Was it last night or 2 nights ago? I was listening to the Rockettes. You know who the Rockettes are, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they had a live stream on TikTok. Turned into a Sunni versus Quran only debate.
Yeah, that's usually what happens because Sunnis are not going to go into a Quran only room and not attack the Quranist when they're going to do that.
So that was funny. I think even some Shiites have gone in there and gone after Rocco.
But see, that's the area where we have to get smart because number one, if you're in a room, if Christians are in a room with Shia and Sunni, Shias will click up with Christians.
Yep.
They love to watch Christians just, dismantle, Sunnis. And from our theological perspective, they're both in the same boat.
That happened in the live stream. I can't remember whose live stream it was. There was I think it was one of the other guys, and there was a Shiite there, and man, he was giving the Christians some good sources, and he was tearing the Sunnis apart. And it's like I was just sitting back and just listening. I'm gonna have to get a little notebook and take notes because sometimes they have some good stuff. And, I think they were talking about was it Allah coming down into his creation or something like that? But anyway, it was just hilarious. This Muslim Shiite was teaming up with the Christians, as you said, against the Sunnis. But I've also seen Unitarians get on the Muslim side and attack the Trinitarians.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, as Unitarians are liabilities because if a Muslim knows that a Unitarian is on stage with Christians, he'll exploit that and start talking about how a Unitarian doesn't have the same theological belief about the nature of God as you do. Right? And then before you know it,
yep,
the Unitarian and the Trinitarian are going at it, and the Muslims just sitting back and eating some popcorn.
Now, do you remember? I can't remember what his name was on Clubhouse. Charlesy.
Charlesy.
Yeah, I think he goes. What's his name on? He's got a couple different names, but he's been hanging out with the Muslim. Now, I know that in Clubhouse because I got pissed off at him. He actually took the Shahada and became a Muslim because he was confused. And a couple of us got on his case. And then he was like, his excuse was, I was just doing it. It was just a joke. It was a game. I was just trying to get some information from them. I'm like, dude, that is one thing you don't want to play around with.
Absolutely.
What's the penalty for leaving Islam? So now he's going around attacking Trinitarians. I don't know what he is. I think he's a Roman Catholic now or something. And he was telling the Muslims that
Well, if he's a Roman Catholic, he'd still be a Trinitarian.
yeah, but he's got some weird ideas. And he was like, yeah, we believe in the same gods. Allah and Yahweh is the same. Calls Muhammad a prophet. I even told him, listen, I'll debate you on Yahweh being Allah.
You talking about the one with the English accent?
Yeah, he's got a very hard accent to understand.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely know who you're talking about.
Yeah, like I said, on Club, he might still be a Muslim. I don't know. But I know he likes to go into the Muslim live streams, and he'll start wanting to debate Christians. And I've heard he usually gives the Muslims ammunition to use against the Trinitarian Christians. Which, if he is a Catholic, it's like, bro, why are you doing that?
Right.
Because he believes that we're all going to hell unless you're Catholic.
Yeah, I know his beliefs.
Yeah.
And I bumped heads with him a couple of times in the past.
Because I know,
You know, my problem with him is that, you know, he's debating Muslims, and then when they ask him about something, then he'll start talking about, well, the church father said. No, man, this is a theological discussion. I read the church fathers, but you do your battles with scripture, not with the writings and the interpretations of the church fathers, because they are fallible.
So yeah, so he's a strange dude. Like I said, I've seen him a couple times in Muslim rooms, and he's attacking the Christians.
I've never. Well, it's because he foregrounds that Catholicism all the time. You know, people get tired of it.
Yeah, because like the last time he was saying, oh, you know, I forgot what he was reading. He was trying to say that, you know, that the church says that there's no difference between our gods, right? It kind of reminded me of Chrislam, which I despise. But yeah, he was attacking the Christians, and the Muslims were like, they were cheering him on. Oh man, he is beating the crap out of the Trinitarians. And he was telling, oh, all you guys, the Orthodox, are going to hell. And of course, so it became him pretty much fighting against the Orthodox Church.
Really?
Space Potato on Clubhouse. His name is, well, it used to be Charles Z. Who knows what it is now? And he used to debate Muslims, but like I said, I don't know if he got beat up by the Muslims, but the next thing I know, he's taking the Shahada, and I'm like, dude, are you like nuts? And he's like, no, man, I did it as a joke. I'm like, dude, that's not a joke. And I kind of stopped talking to him because I'm like, dude, you don't do that.
Yeah, and there's absolutely no salvation in Islam. He should know that, being a Catholic.
Well,
So
I mean, you would think he would know that, but like I said, I don't know why he goes into, you know, Muslim rooms and then tries to tear down the orthodoxy.
maybe he's just trolling.
I mean, could be, because like he's pretty much the Catholic Church against all others. And I'm like, okay. Telling people, oh, yeah, we worship the same God. Allah and Yahweh is the same. I mean, that pissed me off. And calling Muhammad a prophet, you will never hear me call Muhammad a prophet. I call him lots of other names, profiting one of them.
I mean, he's a false prophet.
Right. That's about the only. That's about the only title with the word prophet that I would use. Yeah, false prophet. But
Absolutely.
I mean, this dude is just out there. So I may see if he wants to debate me. You know, maybe do just a one-on-one on StreamYard. But he changed his name. Now I can't remember what his name what his name is, but he's got that voice that you can't forget. So if you're in a room and he starts talking, you'll know he's there. But
Yeah, I mean, he's got a distinguished.
yeah, you can't miss it.
Yeah, not at all.
So where's the Muslims, brother?
I don't know. I think they saw you and
Dr. Kufa. Don't feel bad, man. That's why I haven't really done any live streams, because usually when I do live stream, I got a few subscribers that have been following me since I started doing the dissecting the Quran.
right.
So they're always there. But other than that, I mean, you'll not catch 500 people on my live streams. Even across in the Crescent. I mean, we're lucky if we get 30. And I actually do better with the shorts as far as views than I've done with any of my and I couldn't understand, because we had Usama Dakdak, which, you know, he, he's well known. Maybe not that well known.
Yeah, we we dealt with some.
I mean, I got one short, and this was just a clip that I took out one of the guys that I debated. It was a picture of, I titled it, "They found Adam's 6,000-year-old bed sheets." So the Muslims have a picture of this big old gigantic white linen robe or something, and they're claiming that that's Adam's. I mean, the thing looks like pristine white. And I'm like, damn, that's pretty good for like something that's about 6,000 years old. And that little short got over 2,100 views. Usually they don't really, 20, 50, a couple of them, get a couple hundred. Oh, what was the other one? 1,446 was Quran, not from Allah, but men. Prove me wrong. Yeah. Now, on my political satire channel, which is, I think it's called Babyface Daily Rants, I think I got 4 or 5 shorts that got like over 5,000 views. Haven't done any in a while. Could you believe it? I am shadow banned on Twitter, and I haven't been on Twitter for like a month. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Y'all want to get on this? Y'all want to get on this teaching?
Yeah, go ahead. Give us some. Throw out some.
See a little deer. See a little deer down there.
All right, she's got to
Give us some meat.
All right, so we know.
Give us some meat for our
Right,
plates.
so Muhammad, we know that Muhammad was an antichrist, right? And as we see here in 1 John chapter 2, verses 22 through 23, it says, "Who is the liar but he who denies that Jesus is Christ?" This is the antichrist, who denies the Father and the Son. No one who denies the Son has the Father. Whoever confesses the Son has the Father also. So, did Muhammad deny the fatherhood of God and the sonship of the Son?
Absolutely.
So he would fall into that category of an antichrist, right?
Right. Now, I think their only argument.
Who else falls into that category?
Well, just about anybody who denies the Father and the Son.
So that would be anybody that follows. That would include all of the followers. Correct?
It's either you breaking up or my connection is bad because I did not hear anything from you.
It was breaking up, but I think I caught what you were saying, DL. That would include the followers of Muhammad, right?
Okay. Okay. So you guys are getting bad reception from?
Yeah, you're breaking up, at least on my end. But Little Deer says she's getting the same thing.
You guys can hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Now.
Okay. So that would include all of his followers, because if they believe that nobody's that God has no children, Allah has no children, Surah 5, Ayah 18, and then Surah 112, the whole chapter, then they would be included in this category.
Very true. I mean, we can throw Allah into the pot.
You know, Allah's the puppet.
Yeah. Now,
All right.
the only
So,
argument... Yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the only argument that I can see them making is the Bible is corrupted. It's been changed.
Okay. But then they'll have to provide evidence for that. What did it say before it was changed?
Right. Good luck with that. I've been asking them, okay, can you tell me what it used to say before it got corrupted? When did it get corrupted? Who corrupted? Why?
Yep.
You know, the 5 W's. Who, what, where, when, what. That's just it. Because now they'll go to their go-to passage is, what is it, Jeremiah 8:8, which I believe has nothing to do with what they think it has to do.
Right.
And then they'll also go to where the Quran mentions something about, you know, they wrote with their hands and they sold it for a little price. But I think the tafsirs say that these people, they wrote a different book and tried to pass it off as, believe the Torah. And because God Logic had that discussion with.
Yeah, I believe you're. Yeah, I believe that the tafsirs teach that it was actually the Talmud, you know, the Talmudic writings, the rabbinical writings, those writings which were written by their hands and they claimed came from Allah.
Yeah, I got something on that. I had clipped it. It's from Ibn Kathir.
Ibn.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in this computer or the other computer. Political stuff. No, it's not political stuff. It would be Islam stuff. Maybe it's pictures. I got so much crap on my two computers. Pictures.
So something else to go along with this. Doesn't it say in the surah that, sorry, I'm driving, so I can't look it up, but doesn't it say in the surah that they say that they crucified the Messiah? Well, who is it that crucified the Messiah? It was the Romans, but the Jews were the ones that were in the jury convicting him, right? So
That's true.
why? Yeah. So why would the Jews say they crucified the Messiah? Because they don't believe he's the Messiah. So that, I mean, you know, that's surah right there makes no sense whatsoever.
Right. It's number one, Jews would not brag that they killed their Messiah. Right.
Correct.
It just would have never happened. So let's get biblical with it. You guys can see my screen.
It says the Prophet's Republic. Okay, now we see it.
You don't see the Bible Gateway up?
Yeah.
All right, so verse 3, it says, then when Judas, his betrayer, saw that Jesus was condemned, he changed his mind and brought back the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priest and the elders, saying, I have sinned by betraying innocent blood. They said, what is that to us? See to it yourself. And throwing down the pieces of silver into the temple, he departed and went and hanged himself. But the chief priest, taking the pieces of silver, said, it is not lawful to put them into the treasury, since it is blood money. So they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field as a burial place for strangers. Therefore, that field has been called the field of blood to this day. Then was fulfilled what had been spoken by the prophet Jeremiah, saying, and they took the 30 pieces of silver and the price of him of whom a price had been set by some of the sons of Israel. All right, so here's the issue. Judas betrays Jesus. He's remorseful of the situation, and he brings back the money to those who paid him to betray Jesus, right? And it says, in throwing down the pieces of silver into the temple, he departed and went and hanged himself. But the chief priest, they said, what is that to us? See to it yourself. Now, remember, this doesn't sound like Jews bragging that they killed Jesus. This sounds like they didn't want anything to do with Jesus's death, or they definitely didn't want their names associated with his death. Correct? So we're looking at the
Correct.
earliest. So we're looking at the earliest record, and the earliest historical record shows that they did not brag about killing the Messiah. Number one, they didn't believe Jesus was the Messiah. So as we go on down, we know that the apostles were teaching in the temple, and they were arrested again and brought before the Sanhedrin. In Acts chapter 5, starting at verse 27, it says, and when they brought them, the apostles, they set them before the council, and the high priest questioned them, saying, we strictly charged you not to teach in this name, yet here you have filled Jerusalem with your teaching, and you intend to bring this man's blood upon us. Notice how they're mad that their preaching includes the indictment of the Jewish leaders, that they were the ones responsible for his death, and they don't want anything to do with it. Now, had they had bragged that they had killed Jesus the Messiah, why are they trying to remove themselves as far away from the situation as they possibly can? The earliest layer of testimony that we have about the crucifixion of Jesus vis-a-vis the Jews is that they did not brag about killing him. And they definitely did not believe that Jesus was the Messiah. So that argument fails.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then there's that verse, I can't remember what the verse is, where Jesus is saying, blessed the day I was born, the day I die, and the day I will be
That's
resurrected.
1933.
So if you follow, it's
Yeah,
also
19.
right. It's also the same verse that's used for John the Baptist.
Can you guys see my screen still?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
This is the English Standard Version.
That's what you guys see? So I have to stop sharing. Share this tab. It's what about now?
Yeah, but it's like you're missing stuff from the left and you're missing stuff from the right. So what you might want to do is select the big
Hang
on the bottom so that it takes
on.
us out.
It's not even the version I wanted to get anymore. Maybe I need to be a little bit more prepared.
This is good practice.
What did you
Yeah,
say,
you know.
brothers and sisters?
Took me almost a year to get a hang
There
of
we
it.
go.
I'm still learning. Now, if you're going to be switching back between different tabs on your browser, I would recommend you learn how to use OBS and use OBS as a virtual camera. Set that up as your camera, and then you can go from any screen that you want and any software that you want. It's much easier than StreamYard.
OBS?
Yeah. And it's free. Yeah, you just have to download the virtual Actually, I think now it's built in, so you don't even have to. I'll show you how it works. Let me see.
Hang on, we'll deal with that later. All right, let's see. What's the problem here? Oh, there we go. You guys see?
I just see your okay, yeah.
Okay, so it's peace be upon me. This is Surah 1933. Upon me the day I was born, the day I die, and the day I will be raised back to life.
Now go up a little bit, and I think you'll see the same verse in reference to John the Baptist.
John the
All right.
Baptist, right?
Don't go too far. Oh, wait a minute. You're in 19? No, I'm sorry. John the Baptist would be in chapter 3.
No, he's in this one.
Yeah. Let me see what it is in chapter 3. Is
1915, peace be upon him, the day he was born and the day of his death, and the day that he will be raised to life.
Yeah, so it's kind of similar. But the one that you brought up,
and we know what happened to John the Baptist.
Yeah. But I believe the one for Jesus, or Isa, it's supposed to be Isa speaking. This is not John the Baptist speaking, obviously, because you know.
No, it's not. This is Zechariah speaking, his father.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing. If you look at it from a logical progression standpoint, right?
Okay.
You have you've got A, B, and C. A, he has to be born, which obviously we know he was born. Then he's saying he has to die, and then he's raised.
Right.
Well, according to the Quran, he was raised, so he had to die. Then I think there's another verse that says, you caused me to die and you raised me. Of course, most of the translations will not say, that Allah caused him to die.
Yeah, the Arabic word is mutawafi.
Yeah, mutawaffiq.
It actually means to die. Are you showing us your dog there?
Yeah, that's me using OBS. So basically, I turn my background into a camera. That's my big dog when she got shaved. And then I just stop the cam and it goes back to the avatar.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's look at another passage. Let's go to Matthew 16. All right, Matthew chapter 16, verses 21 through 23. Jesus is preaching to his disciples, telling them from that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed on the third day, be raised. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "Far be it from you, Lord, this shall never happen to you." But he turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of men." As I have in my title, Muhammad taught a satanic religion. And the reason for that is because Jesus is speaking about his mission here. Peter, after hearing about Jesus' mission, that he was to die by crucifixion and rise again, spoke in opposition to that message, saying that it would never happen. Jesus recognized the satanic influence behind Peter's statement, speaking in opposition to his mission, and called him Satan. "Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of men." So there's two things that we can understand from this. Number one, anybody or any teaching or any religion that teaches that Jesus didn't die by crucifixion and rise again is of Satan, right? And the other thing that we learn is that Surah 4, Ayah 157 is a teaching of man and not a teaching of God. Because anything that is of Satan is a hindrance to Christ, right? And Christ says, "For you are setting your mind on, you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man." So those who accept the message that Jesus died by crucifixion and rose again are setting their minds on the things of God, and those who believe that he didn't die by crucifixion and rise again are those who have their minds set on the things of man.
Well, that's kind of it in a nutshell. That's exactly what Muhammad did. Muhammad did the opposite.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of funny because if you look at it, okay. So if we look at that verse where it says, it appeared to, first of all, it's like you said, the Jews would never brag that they killed the Messiah. That's just idiotic. Okay, because they were waiting for the Messiah. So why would they kill him? Also, that doesn't negate the Romans, because technically, although, the Jews started the whole process for him to be killed.
Right.
But it was the Romans who carried out the actual killing or crucifixion. And then, the whole thing is, but, made it to appear. So basically what that tells me is that Allah is nothing more than a Loki, Loki from the Avengers, the god of mischief. So basically Allah tricked everybody, including Jesus's mother, the disciples, and everybody that was there. Okay, created the largest religion in the world. And then 600 years plus later comes around and says, "Hey guys, listen, I got to let you in on a secret. Jesus never died. I just made it look like he died. You know, I used some CGI. I mean, really? I'm expected to believe that.
Right.
Not only that, you know, the crucifixion is like the most affirmed event from a historical standpoint that even people like Bart Ehrman will tell you, yeah, he was crucified. He may not believe in
Absolutely.
the resurrection and everything else, but he says that is the most attested fact in history. I mean, there's very few scholars, if any, that I know of that would say no, he wasn't crucified. So who should we believe? Some book that comes around not even 600 years, because the Quran really didn't start getting put together until about maybe the late 7th, early 8th century, if that. You know, some Johnny come along book.
Well, let's take a look at some of the things that you brought up.
Okay.
You made a good point. Okay. Number one, Isaiah says here, what is this color coding?
Oh, that's because you have the same thing that I use. You probably have weave. Yeah, it does that to me. It drives me nuts because I don't want to highlight.
Did you say that DL has a weave?
I think the program is called Weeva.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called Weeva. It's a highlighter. It's a browser extension. It lets you highlight it.
DL got it.
Yeah, DL's got a weave.
Believe me, I don't have a weave.
Yeah, well, I might need one.
I shave my head bald all the time.
Oh, okay.
I think you guys seen a picture of me.
I don't think I've ever seen a picture of you.
So Isaiah chapter 42, verse 9. I think I gave it the picture to Sister Connie, and she like showed it for a little bit on. Anyway, not much of a sight. But the prophet Isaiah says, behold, the former things have happened, and I declare new things. I tell you about them like this before they spring forth, right? Not after.
And this is funny because this
So
is
God says, yeah, God is saying that when I do stuff, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to do it before I do it, right? So you
Right.
brought up a good point by saying, here comes the Quran, Johnny come lately, talking about, oh, by the way, Jesus didn't really die. It just appeared that he died. Remember? So here we go, Isaiah chapter 46, verse 10. And so he says, declaring the end from the beginning, not the beginning from the end, and from ancient times, things not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will accomplish all my purpose, right? So Yahweh says, I declare the end from the beginning. Muslims start with the Quran. They start at the end and then try to start reinterpreting stuff from the beginning. No, if we want to know what's going on now, we go back to the beginning because God declared the end from the beginning, right?
Well, logically, that's how things work. You don't take a book
Exactly.
you don't take a book that comes into the future and use that as your reference point. You look at what's already established and you compare the Quran to the Bible. Muslims try to do the opposite. They try to compare the Bible, which existed long before the Quran, is historically accurate, archaeologically it's accurate, and then try to compare that to the Quran, but it should be the other way around.
Yeah, and that's what we're addressing right now because
Yeah.
the Quran claims that it's the final revelation of a progressive revelation, which started with the Torah or with the books of Abraham and Moses, as we see in Surah 87, ayah 18 and 19. So here goes the prophet Amos. Amos lets us know, for the Lord God does nothing without revealing his secrets to his servants, the prophets. Right?
Right.
So the question is who did Yahweh or Allah reveal? What prophet did he reveal to them that Jesus wasn't really going to die, but it was only going to appear that way?
Well, apparently only one guy
Right.
that got squeezed in the cave. But here's the funny thing, because you brought up Isaiah 42. But in Isaiah 42, verse 8 should destroy anything about being Muhammad, because if Allah is the one who sends the prophets and the messengers, Isaiah 42:8, God says, I am Yahweh. That is my name. It doesn't say I am Allah. That is my name.
Right.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, these people's brains get turned off.
So here we have Jesus in Matthew 24:25. He says, see, I have told you beforehand. Right?
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna let it happen and then 600 years later tell you I did it. Right?
Exactly.
Let's keep going on, man. Let's let the master teach us a little something. So here we go. 19. Jesus says, I am telling you this now before it takes place, so that when it does take place, you may believe that I am he. So Jesus, being God in the flesh, functions just like God. He declares things before he brings them about. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's right there in front of your face. I mean, you can't deny it.
Let's continue on.
Oh, yeah, my favorite chapter.
29. And now I have told you before, here we are, chapter 14, 29. And now I have told you before it takes place, so that when it does take place, you may believe. See how plain that is? So I like what you were talking about.
I mean, unfortunately, I wish the
I'll
Quran
get that all of a
was plain
sudden.
and clear.
Watch this, man. Let's listen to the prophet Isaiah. So the question becomes, right? He says, who told this long ago? Remember, this is what I'm asking Muhammad, right? If he had, let's just say that we were living in a little small town on the outskirts of Mecca or Medina, and he came through there preaching this nonsense, right? About how he didn't really die, it just appeared that way. So we would say to him what the prophet Isaiah says, declare and present your case. Let them take counsel together. Who told this long ago? Who declared it of old? Who said this? Who spoke this? Right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's right there, was it not? I, the Lord. I mean, it's like you said, God does not just drop something on you. He tells you, he gives you a forewarning of what he's going to do, so that you can't just say, well, I didn't know about it.
Look at Jeremiah in Lamentations. He says, who has spoken and it came to pass unless the Lord has commanded him? So
What
he's
was that
constantly
one?
letting us know that we would be able.
What was that one? Lamentations what?
Lamentations 3:37.
Thank you.
3:37. So when we study the prophets are letting us know that that before God does something, he's first going to reveal it to his prophets. It's Amos 3:7. He declares the end from the beginning.
I mean,
Before something new comes about, I tell you about it. So this idea that all of a sudden, 6 centuries after Jesus's death, burial, and resurrection, Muhammad comes with the true revelation that he really actually didn't die is just theological nonsense. It's prophetic nonsense. God doesn't even function that way. This is how we also know that Allah is not Yahweh, because they function in 2 separate ways. Jesus functions like the Father functions. I tell you before it happens so that when it happens, you will believe. How can we believe Surah 4, Ayah 157, when Allah never told us anything about it?
I mean, the way I look at the Old Testament is, it's like you're getting ready to go on the trip, right? And you go to Google Maps and you print out the directions. And those directions, if you look at the directions, it's all pointing to the New Testament and Jesus.
Right.
I mean, it's right there. It's like a roadmap, a blueprint. But yet, again, Quran comes, 600, 700, 800 years later and says, no. Everything that you read, that's all wrong.
So, yeah. So, yeah, because they say, it's been changed and all that kind of stuff. So, in the Quran, doesn't it verify Psalms, the Zabur?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Also?
Surah 20,
yeah,
Surah 21, Ayah 1.
yeah, all
Surah
of this,
21:18?
105.
105. Okay. I wanted to get that down because, if you study just Psalms 22, how many times in the New Testament did Christ use Psalms or the predictions in Psalms about the specific things of Christ? Just Psalms alone. You don't even have to jump all over. It's just Psalms 22.
Yeah, he says, we wrote in the Psalms, as we did in earlier scripture, my righteous servants will inherit the earth. It's a direct quote from Psalm 37:20. But notice what he says, we wrote in the Psalm, as we did in earlier scripture. So Allah is testifying that he was the writer of the earlier scripture.
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, there's so many different ways that when we look at what Allah says and what he testifies to, those, the Old Testament, the Torah, the Zabur, and the Injil, when we examine those things, we find that Allah is definitely not Yahweh, not even close to the same God. Just looking at the things that God, says is an abomination, Allah allows. So when did Allah change his mind on what an abomination is to what is permissible now? It's just crazy.
well, that's all for you. Also, I think in the Quran, somebody was pointing it out. I wish I had written it down, but maybe DL knows, where between the Quran and the tafsirs, it confuses, the story of Gideon and in the water where there's a test depending on how they drink the water, because he's supposed to. Yeah, he only wants 300 people to fight against the big army. Well, in the Quran, they confuse that with King Saul. and
Correct.
it talks about 600s, and then it also confuses something else. So there's three things that it's taken from the Bible, but it's twisted it around. So instead of Gideon, it is now Saul. Instead of
Right.
300, it's 600. Now 600 has something to do. That 600 is dealing, I believe, with King Saul, but that's something completely different. Now, I'm like, huh. I want to try to see if there's a source that compares.
Surah 2, ayah 249.
To, yeah. I want to see if there's a good source where he puts all those parallelisms together and shows you the differences. I know some of them, but not all of them. That one I thought was pretty interesting. That Allah confused Gideon in the 300 with Saul in the 600. Also, I still haven't gotten an answer where.
I'm not surprised that he did.
Yeah. Also, I haven't got an answer from a Muslim as to when did they have Israelite kings during the time of Moses? Because they always bring up how the Bible gets it wrong,
Right.
using Pharaoh and king stuff like that. But in a verse, Moses is talking, and he says, that God gave him prophets and kings. And I'm thinking to myself, what king? Saul.
Right.
Saul, I believe, is the first king. And I'm pretty sure Saul came hundreds of years after Moses had already been dead. So it's like, okay. So that's one of my arguments.
Saul would have been a 11th century BC figure.
Yeah.
Moses was a 15th century.
Yeah, 15, 14.
15.
Yeah. So still, Moses would have been long gone. So it's like, that's one of the verses that I'm going to keep in mind when I discuss that with a Muslim, and they say the Quran is perfect and has no errors, no contradictions. I want them to give me a list of kings, not kings in general, but kings that the Israelites had during the time of Moses. See what kind of
they're not going to be able to do that.
But it's fun to watch them. It's fun to watch.
That's when they're So that's when they're going to bank on or default on a biblical
or manifest and start going after the Bible. But I thought that was very interesting. I was reading that verse and I'm like, wait a minute, there were no kings, no Israelite kings during the time of Moses. Hey, I believe it's almost time for God Logic.
Is that right? I guess we can pull
Another half
it.
hour.
No, it's at 10 o'clock. I was on the
Unless you
live.
changed it.
Yeah, I was on the live with Chris.
Mine says 10:30.
Yeah, I heard 10. I heard 10:30. Now it's back to 10. So I think Chris is streaming it, and I think it's going to be on God Logic's TikTok. Let me look and see if his TikTok is up. I'm on the other computer. I try to get a pin.
If you guys can, go ahead and toss that in the link. We'll tell our gigantic audience of 2 people.
Okay, so I don't see God Logic.
One of them's me, and one of them's Dr. Kufarphobia.
Okay.
So I don't see God Logic on yet. So maybe it is at 10:30. I don't know. The guy kept changing. I was like, dude, make it. He reminds me of Chris Claus. Chris sends us a message to say, hey, I'm going to go live, guys, at 8 o'clock. Next thing he sends us another message. It's going to be 9 o'clock. I'm like, dude, because he likes to go in late. And I can't complain now. Like I said, I work from the house. I don't have any set hours.
No, that's fine.
I can go to bed when I want, but I'm like, dude, can you get a set time and don't change it? So maybe it is at 10:30. I don't know, but I was on the last live stream with Brother Bear Image, and he said, no, it's at 10 o'clock. I'm like, okay. But I don't see God Logic original Quran only Christian. All right, cool. Brother Amir. Let me see if Chris Claus has his YouTube channel fired up. Somebody got to have it. I was thinking of recording it also.
Sister
No.
Connie is in the house.
Ah, that's who that is. Okay, she does. Yeah, Chris doesn't have his live stream on, and God Logic doesn't have his TikTok stream on. So either it got canceled, or it's going to be at 10:30 now, or I don't know, they're running late.
Yeah, mine says 10:30.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, I asked him. Somebody said 10. I asked him. Then it went to 10:30. Then it changed to 10. Then it was sometime between 10 and 10:30. I'm like, dude, could you like pin it down? So I guess we'll see. So we got some time here. So what else you got, brother Dio?
That's it, man. My job was just to point out that Muhammad was an antichrist.
Right.
So
I had my notebook and I got my notes. Thank you, Dio.
Well, the good thing is that this will be unlike TikTok. We can always have access to this. Whereas in TikTok, if you do a live, only the live creator has access to it, and that's if TikTok doesn't delete the live stream, which is why I try to record them if I'm on them, like I did.
Well,
when
I'm suspended again until the 21st.
Yeah, I know. That's
How'd you get suspended again?
They said hate speech again.
Yeah, I think he used. You said you had the word "die" in your meme.
Yeah, I had without lies, Islam.
That's the thing that I don't like about TikTok, man. You don't know what's going to trigger them.
Well, the next one, when I get back on the 21st, I'm going to write. I'm going to write. TikTok is a bunch of sissies who cancel people for stupid stuff. I kid you not. It's not going to be a big deal.
I mean, if you look at my profile, it says, because I'm having issues trying to follow people back. So my bio says, fighting the CCP censor, fighting the CCP censorship, issues following back. Because I try to follow people in some accounts. I should have taken a video. I follow them and TikTok unfollows them. I follow them and TikTok unfollows them. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, the issue is it's kind of funny, is that when I go through, because I'm still trying to get familiar with TikTok. When I go through followers and stuff, when I see guys like God Logic, I'll see them like 3 or 4 times. And it'll say the God Logic project number 2, right? God Logic project number 3. So obviously they've all been canceled numerous times. Or they just already have these backup channels, ready to go just in case one of them gets canceled.
Yeah, I think he's getting back his God Logic number 2. Because he's been doing his live streams on God Logic number 3. There's also a sister. Her name is JC Forever. Man, I think she's got more accounts than Allah. Now, I haven't done that many live streams since I got I told you I got my first account that's permanently suspended. I didn't even get a warning. I got suspended for a week. I came back. I was doing a live, and then the live was shut down, and it says you've been suspended, and they didn't give me a time frame. So I don't even remember what that account is anymore. And then I got the second account, which now is called You Can't Make This Up. I got a 10-minute suspension, which is kind of weird. And then I got a 1-week suspension. I haven't done anything on that account.
You said 10-minute?
Yeah, I got a 10-minute suspension. I'm like, okay. So I was able to go live 10 minutes later. And then I did another live and I got suspended for a week. And I haven't done anything on that account. That's my second account. And then my third account, which is Tafsir Trust Me Bro. I don't think I got suspended in that one yet, but I haven't really done any live streams. So The only thing they did was, I don't know what happened. I had 5 of my, and they're not even videos because you can upload like a picture, and then I was going to say YouTube, and then TikTok adds some motion to it where it's like it repeats, and then it adds some music. So I had 5 of those taken down, and I finally got all of them back yesterday. So I mean, it was just basically challenging Muslims to debate their Quran claims,
Right.
and they got you know, they got I was going to say suspended. Yeah, I got all these Muslims trying to get me to go into their live streams, but I don't go into their live streams. I'm not going to go into a panel and get abused. So I tell them, let's do one-on-one. I even give them the link to.
All right. I guess we'll.
Let me see what's up with. I'm still not seeing God Logic, so it might be 10:30.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down so I can kind of prepare myself for it. Who is he debating again?
Some guy called Dr. Malik.
Well, I don't think God Logic is debating, is he?
Yeah, he is. Today it's supposed to be God Logic, and then Friday, the same guy is debating Brother Albee, I think on the same topic.
Okay.
Muhammad in the Bible.
There was another one that got thrown out today in Clubhouse or in TikTok. I can't remember that guy. He's Nigerian, and that one's between him and King Silva. But I don't know that they've actually set a time or date yet on that one.
Now I know Bible Guy debated Central Dawah on Muhammad in the Bible. I debated Central Dawah until they kicked me out of the debates because I called him Circle Dawah. Because all the guy did was be a pompous a-hole, right? Oh man, this debate is really bad, man. You know, I expected more, and the guy never answered any of my questions. And I'm like, Muslims tell me, oh man, aren't you embarrassed to be on TikTok? I'm like, no. You want to see the debate? There's the link. I got no problems. You know, like I said, that's probably why he hasn't made any clips, because there's really nothing to clip. What he's going to clip? That I kept asking him to provide me evidence for his claims. Yeah. All they do, DL, is they talk and they'll spew out a whole bunch of supposedly sources. You know, so and so said this. I don't care what so and so says. Let's go back to, you know, that's why I like your thinking. Let's go back to what the scripture says, not what some guy thinks that it says.
Right.
You know, like one guy said, oh, the Parakletos was changed. Because there is a paper that I have that I sent to Chris to send to God Logic, that one of the claims is that apparently the Parakletos, the original was spelt differently. It's the same letters but different vowels. And that in Greek means the praised one. So they're trying to say that all the Greek manuscripts got changed, which there's never been a Greek manuscript that shows that the word Parakletos was ever something else. Now, I mean, I'm not sure where they got that from.
Well, wait a minute. What doesn't that go against their argument that Jesus didn't speak Greek, but he spoke Aramaic?
I mean, these guys, if you let them speak,
yeah, they just shoot themselves in the foot.
Shoot themselves in the foot, and if you've got that lawyer mentality, you will pick that up. Let me see if I can find it. It's in my Islam. It's my Debunking Islam, and this is it's a nice paper. I think I found it on a website called Quran Message. Oh yeah, Parakletos. Let me pull that up.
Well, I'm gonna head out, guys. I just wanted to say God bless you,
Okay.
peace of Christ, and my
Yes,
other
ma'am.
new one on here is go out and serve your King.
Amen.
All right, sister, I'm fixing to shut it down. So I can check
Before
out this stuff.
you shut it down, so you know how Parakletos is Parakletos.
Mhm.
So what they did was they changed the vowels. So now it becomes, they claim that it used to say Periklytos. So kind of pretty much the same pronunciation. It's just the vowels got changed.
Right. Yeah, I know the whole gig.
Yeah, okay. And that particular Greek word translates to the praised one. And you know how, even if that was the case, if you read John 14:17, there's no way that, I don't care what you call it, Parakletos, Periakletos, it doesn't fit Muhammad in John 14:17. So I don't know what to tell you.
There's nothing to be praised.
Yeah. So I guess, brother, I guess the debate's going to be at 10:30. I'm going to wait till 10:30. Hopefully it's at 10:30. Otherwise, I'm going to go to bed. Thank you for having me on. Next time you have a show, let me know. And if I do one, I'll let you know.
And everybody, I appreciate you guys coming in. This is Brother DL signing off for the Prophets Republic. Shalom.